Oops. Oh, I missed it. I missed my window. I didn't do the intro. Sorry, guys. I'm not going to bother doing it now. I wanted to hit it and I hit the wrong button. Anyway, thanks for everyone for coming for another Monday Night Draw with Meredith and Dave. Today we're going to be drawing Darkchilde or Iliana Rasputen or Magic or whatever. I wasn't really sure actually what to call this one. This is from X-Infernus, a book written by C.B. Sapolsky years ago. This was 2008, Meredith. So it's a long time, 14 years ago. Can you believe that?
I can't. I also can't find it.
What, can't you find the stream?
Yeah.
Should be interesting. Well, thank you everyone for coming. I see Allison McGlone, Greg Gall's here, Phil Finch, JDSCT, Henry's here, Extreme Maybe, Tom Teacher's here. Tom actually had a suggestion. Dan Genovese is here. Hold on. Shoot.
No, there we go. We're here.
I'm going to see if I can scroll up and find it. Oh, he wanted to do Flocktober next year, which is Inktober is in October, right? What?
Sometimes we need like me to be on screen so that people can see the look that I'm giving you, which is, are you freaking kidding me? You're mansplaining Inktober to me?
Was that mansplaining?
Yes, I feel like that's mansplaining. I don't know. Is that what mansplaining is? You're mansplaining to me something that I already know because, I see more of it than you do.
Well, there you go. We've been doing this. What is it? 8:01. In a minute, I have
mansplained.
And yeah, done a microaggression, apparently. All right. So I'm going to get started.
Is that a microaggression?
Yeah.
It felt like a maximum aggression.
Yeah, you're in a mood. So yeah, Meredith is
grouchy tonight.
Yeah, so it should be fun. We're
all
looking forward to that.
Grumpasaurus. Stephen Lechowski says, "Oh, Meredith is feisty tonight." Yeah, that's one word for it.
You'll come around.
Let's see. I'm just looking back, make sure I don't miss anything.
All right.
Hello, everybody. I'm grumpy and tired. It's like a deadly combination.
All right, get together. Let's go.
And Eric sent me a link because I couldn't find the stream.
I'm about to mansplain to you how to stay awake during the stream.
I wouldn't just use mansplaining from now on. You're a man whenever you explain something to me.
Oh, I love it. Everyone loves that. You know that.
I do.
That's everybody's favorite.
Marcos. I'm gonna go with that. Meredith Finch. I can't get super chat to work, but I want to ask Dave, how would you prioritize comic skills? And Miss Meredith rocks. I'm just assuming MMR just means not the measles, mumps, and rubella vaccine, but that I rock.
Yeah, that's definitely a sunnier outlook than what would otherwise be possible. So when I started, and now bear in mind, this is me without any training for a few years, 2 years, trying to learn, and it worked. And I didn't do it completely untrained because there was Bart Sears, who I would love to have as a guest at some point. I actually was able to talk to Bart in Colorado, and he said he'd be maybe into doing it. So I'm hoping. Anyway, so I learned a lot from Bart Sears' column in Wizard Magazine and other places. Anyway, long story short, figures are the most important by far because you're drawing people in basically just about every scene. Obviously not every single scene, but they are the most important skill. And I prioritize drawing arms and muscles and veins and all that kind of stuff. I don't necessarily recommend that. It's probably not the best way to go. That's what I did. And I've had struggles as a result of that, like feet, for instance. So what I would recommend based on my experience you really need to study heads and faces first and foremost, because they are where all of our expression, or the vast majority of our expression, comes from. It's what we focus on. So that, and then hands, drawing really good, powerful hands. There are artists that do it beautifully. And then, drawing expressive hands is a more nuanced and difficult skill, I think, to get. It certainly was for me. And then, anatomy, focus on arms and then legs and bodies as a whole. You need to work on your proportions and figure out your proportions. That should be early on. So it's a lot of things. You don't need to do everything perfectly. Like, it doesn't need to be in the perfect order, but you do need to focus, learn how to draw arms as best as you can. And then you can draw an arm, and there you go. There's your arm. And then when you go back to it, you make it better. And you just want to keep going back to all these things that you're learning and just make them better. And I don't like it.
All right. First super chat of the night comes from Adam Meyer for $5. Happy Monday, everyone.
Good to see Adam here.
Adam.
That's all he said?
Yeah.
Oh, well, thank you, Adam. I appreciate it. I kind of want to look more at me.
The next super chat comes from Chris Burks for $4.99. Oh, goodness. Maybe one of those nights. Hello to two of my favorite people ever. Dave is the literal goat.
It doesn't say that.
No, okay. I did that. All on my own.
Really added to it, too. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it, despite Meredith.
It was a pretty good. Actually, the first one was better. Did you put that as a sound effect on the soundboard?
No, so I have, and I turned them down. I have laugh. Stop, because I'm going to show you. I have laugh. We have applause.
I can't hear any of them.
Well, I've got them. And anyway, I've got some other ones.
Do you have cricket?
Yep, crickets. Boom.
It's not as good as mine. Cricket. Cricket.
So we have sounds again.
I don't have access to them.
Yeah, that's the idea.
They're very far away. Jamal Rashid has a super chat for $4.99. Jamal says, Monday Night Draw. What's up, bitch vlog? Oh my gosh. In here, showing love to the family and all who are watching. God is good. Amen. And thank you so much, Jamal.
Yeah, it's great to see you here again. So I didn't like the chest. I want to bring it up just a little bit more. Give it a little bit more pull. That's the idea. And then this leg I had up. I don't know if that's going to work. I think so. I don't know. We'll see.
How many people on the stream are going to New York Comic Con, I wonder?
It's got to be a few. It's a huge show. I mean, we have people, you guys are from all over, so obviously it's not necessarily the easiest thing to go. But
Art Apprentice wants to know, are you using any reference, or is this all imagination?
It's imagination. I did a layout. Here. There's my layout. You see it there? So that's my reference. And I do actually have a picture up for my costume just beside, but it's very different. So no, but the thing is, if you learn how to get really good with your stick figure drawing and you really practice these all the time, then you should be able to do that. I have people say a lot that, I can draw something that I see, but drawing something out of my head is very, very difficult. Well, the reason for that is it's skill you have to develop, and it's not something you can learn. It's not like a switch you can flip. It really is a slow developed skill that you constantly have to work on your whole life. And you can always be better. And then there are always the people that just naturally seem to just be able to do it perfectly right away.
Chris Burke says, Meredith needs some of that dark side coffee.
Speaking of which, it's not dark side coffee. It is
Batman coffee.
Dark Knight Roast from Comics on Coffee. And actually, I have some right to check this out. You totally segued me into that. You didn't even mean to. This is my Comics on Coffee mug. So yeah, that's what I've got right now.
Maybe
you did. It was all planned. Yeah.
Actually, Chris Burks is the one who segued us into that.
Yep. You can find a link to Comics on Coffee. Actually, not in this live stream. I didn't put it up. I really should have. But in the last video, there's a link. You can get 15% off if you type in code David Finch.
I'm pretty sure that at some point, Eric and Russ will put a link up too.
Okay.
They de bomb. All right. Otaku Samurai has a super chat for $4.99. I don't get to go to cons, so I'm grateful that you're signing at CGC. I purchased a full head sketch of Rogue, and I hope you like to draw her.
Oh, I do. Absolutely. Yeah, no worries about that. I'm a very big fan of drawing Rogue. So yes, and thank you for that. Yeah, that's coming up next month. Am I wrong? It is next month.
But I think the CGC thing is yes. The answer to whether people could see your layout was no.
No?
No.
Let me try. I can see it on my screen. Here, I got books in the way. That's the problem. I have the last.
I can't see it.
Well, not yet. There. Now you can see it.
Now you can see it.
There it is.
Yeah, that was really, yeah.
All right. Moving on.
All right. Dan Genovese says he's going to New York Comic Con.
So yeah, I'll see Dan there.
And the first thing he's going to do Thursday morning is head to Artist Alley.
Awesome. Well, I will see you there. Am I going to be there on Thursday?
You're there Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Okay.
And which brings me to next Monday. Because you know what next Monday is, Dave?
No.
Canadian Thanksgiving.
So yeah, the headline here is no stream next Monday.
Stream next Monday because I'll be serving dinner. Because Dave will be away Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So we'll be having our family Thanksgiving on Monday. So sorry, guys.
You know what?
But this is our third year, so we skip on Thanksgiving. Paul Floyd has a super chat for $49.99.
Jeez, Paul. Well, thank you very much.
Paul says, I received my Monday night draw season 1 book and mystery box of layouts. I couldn't be happier. I just wanted to thank you. Hold on, dog head in the way. I wanted to thank you both for all the support and knowledge you share. You keep my motivation up even when my mind gets the best of me. Thank you, David Meredith. Flock on.
Well, thank you very much, Paul. Really appreciate it. See, Meredith, this is what you need to hear when you get to a point where you're like, because every Monday she doesn't want to do it. And then I say, oh, yeah, we'll have to stop at some point. I never mean it. She'll do this forever. But then I lie to keep her going.
The puppy's all over me. Tomic Art has a super chat for $1.99. Tomic says, see you at New York Comic Con, Dave. Take my Monday night draw book.
Awesome. I'll see you there. Yeah, I expect to see a bunch of people at New York. That's a great thing about such a big show. Okay, I'm a little happier with that, I think. It's better. This is not what I wanted to be doing.
Art Apprentice wants to know if you think quick gesture drawing is a useful exercise.
He keeps unhanging up my phone. Dog. I'm sorry, if what is what?
Quick gesture drawing.
Yes.
Is a useful exercise.
Yes. Yeah. That's something I've been saying consistently for a long time. It absolutely is. I think it's actually the most important skill. I mean, really, skills kind of range from your foundational skills, and that's going to be proportion, basic anatomy, gesture drawing, being able to just create a figure on the paper that works and has some flow. It's a tough skill to get, but it is a foundational skill. And then from there, finish, like getting your line weights right and learning. You have all this anatomy on the body. You can't render every little bit of anatomy or it looks like your figure has no skin on. You need to know what to light and render and what to leave open. That's something I really should do a video on. I think that'll be coming up, but that is a second tier skill. And then your third tier skills, and I would say that's a second tier skill along with storytelling and backgrounds and all that kind of stuff that comes then. And then the final skills really are style, rendering, and I mean all the little lines and those kinds of things. So yes, absolutely, it is foundational.
Story by Osmosis has a super chat for $20. Hey, David Meredith. I've been lurking. Oh, I got cat hair in my mouth. And studying, just organizing my budget for a first house next year and a new studio. Yay!
Oh, awesome.
Could I get advice on assembling your most satisfying scenes? I'm wondering why and how I lay mine out.
Yes. And here's another thing. It's funny. I went through this bit of a period where I thought, I just don't know what to do for more videos. And I was talking to Eric and saying, at some point I'll just have to stop. But I have so many. Let me write that, and this is the other problem. I remember this stuff. So we have layout. Okay. So give me an idea.
Taking your girlfriend on a date to the movies.
Okay. So here's my panel. I'm going to go with a horizontal panel. Now, the first thing you need to know is on any page, you have only so much real estate. Here's my page. If I've got 10 panels, well, I'm going to have to really, even doing a panel that goes all the way across the page like this, very, very difficult because I just don't have that much room. So I need to know, let's say I've got 4 panels. The first panel, I want an establishing shot. You kind of figure out, look, establishing shots take up more room. And then close-ups can be smaller. And then you also have your impact shot. So if I want a big impact shot at the end of the page, it could be here. Anyway, point being, I've decided that I have a horizontal panel right here. And I want them going to the movie. So what I want to do is show them going up to the ticket booth. And we're going to make it like an old-fashioned ticket booth. And I'm thinking I'm going to be kind of looking down the street. So here's my perspective. Here's my ticket booth. I don't have reference. Here's another key. Use a reference. Here's like some, windows, whatever. I'm just laying this out really fast. It doesn't have to be great, and it isn't great, obviously. Here's my little. So this is my little ticket booth thing. I've got some other stuff on the wall in here. The doors are behind, whatever. There's my movie theater. And here's my sidewalk. And I've got my 2 people. They're walking up. They're too big. So, and they'll be fine because they're further out. So they're walking up. Here's the guy, and he's talking to his girlfriend, and here she is. And she's walking with him. And there's a little, dude in the ticket booth, and he's sitting on his phone because he doesn't care. And maybe there are a couple other people in the background here. Maybe another person walking down the street, pushing a shopping cart because they're, homeless. And, a kid maybe, you'd want to draw a few other people. I have them kind of coming off the bottom of the panel. It's not ideal. I think I'd be better off if it was just a little bit longer that way. So they're actually in the panel. But that's a way that I could do that panel. And so that's like an option. It looks terrible, but, I could make that better fairly easily. Now, this is where you really need to know, like what you gave me, Meredith, is, I could make them outside the theater. I could put them in, I could whatever. But the point is that you kind of have to know your basic elements. Ideally, this should be in thirds. So what I wanted to do here, the idea that I was going for is I'm going to divide this into 3 and then divide this into 3 approximately. And then here, 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 and here are where my focal points are. I'm too far over with these guys. I'd have to adjust them in, which means I'd have to adjust that in. So yeah, I'd have to make adjustments. This is fast. I really blew that one. But that is how you do it. I'm going to go much more in depth into this and actually lay out a page in a video. And it'll be better than, I hope it'll be better than this. All right. Dang it, Meredith. You gave me something I failed at.
That's how I roll. I mean, it would be no fun if I could give you something you were good at.
Yeah.
Johnny Gonzalez has a super chat for $10. Hello, Finch Flock from Corpus Christi, Texas. Both of y'all are awesome.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Johnny.
That's it?
Yep.
Well, thank you. Appreciate it.
And Tagmo Modelworks has a super chat for $5. I'm here. Gonna eat Cheetos now, so I can't touch anything with orange fingers. Thanks for all you do. I spent my weekend living on chips. I had sour cream and onion. I had Smart Foods popcorn. I had All Dressed. And I had Lay's.
Yeah, that really is living on chips.
Yeah, I told you. When you're gluten-free, sometimes that's all you can find at a rest stop that you can eat. Oh, Andrew Law Art says, Meredith missed my super chat. Let me go back up, Andrew. Comic. Oh. Saku. Oh, there it is. I did. Andrew Law Art has a super chat for $5. Hey, Dave Meredith, would it be possible for a tutorial down the track on how you approach word balloons in page layouts?
I wouldn't do a tutorial on that, to be totally honest. Just because it's so simple. And so I'm just going to show you. So you have a panel, and I'm going to do a tall one this time. And in the script, it says you have, Captain whoever, Captain America, Meredith. Captain Meredith, right? And Captain Meredith is speaking, and there's a crowd of people watching. And so here's my Captain Meredith.
Hanging on her every word,
right?
Unlike the people in this house.
And so I'm just going to lay this out. And, speaking, here we go. Hands are out, expounding. That's kind of a hand. And then in the background, we have all the people that are watching. I'm just going to kind of group them. So they're all basically right here. And they're all kind of standing there watching. And so there you go. There's my panel. If I have word balloons that, if I have a small size paragraph, that's going to fit right here just fine. And I left a bunch of, I left room along the top because I knew I could get some word balloons in there. If I was to do this, and so here's my main figure, and here's my hands, and here's all my people, and they're standing watching. That's fine, but what ends up happening is the writer will end up having to put a word balloon here and here and cover a bunch of your artwork, and that happens all the time. You'll see that a lot. So you want to plan. I know because I've got the script. It shows me what characters are going to say, so I know if they're going to say a lot or if they're going to say a little, and I can very easily arrange it. That makes it very, very easy. That's really all there is to it. Anything beyond that, I never worry about it beyond that point. It's actually a very easy thing. You just if I've got a character and he's sitting in a chair and there's a book full of exposition. So here's my chair. I'm going to make it really, really small. He's going to be sitting in his chair. And, maybe I'll have some bookcases behind him or whatever. Here's a window. And you have to get comfortable with the fact that your backgrounds are going to get covered a lot. And now I can have a word balloon. Here's another one. Here's a big, massive one covering up all that work that I put time into. And I've got the room to do that. And you know what? Again, it just makes sense. You can see it in the script. You can see that they're going to hit you with that. So you just leave them room. That's all there is. All right.
Dan Lassard has a super chat for $5, but I don't see a comment from Dan.
Good to see Dan.
Thank you for the super chat, Dan.
We were talking about getting together to do a little bit of drawing at some point. I've got New York obviously coming, but after that it would be nice. And it's nice. Dan's an artist, so we can get together and draw. And so it's I actually get out of the house and do something and don't lose time. So hopefully we can do that soon.
Mako Church has a super chat for $5. Hey, D&M. Dave, your Walking Dead covers are looking insane. How do you draw flesh ripping apart?
Oh, man. All right. Okay. Bear in mind, we only got 2 hours here. Meredith's going to cut me off. Okay. So I've got, let's say I've got an arm. And I'm not going to put a ton of detail in the arm. This is my arm. There you go. And so I've got, I'm going to draw some flesh ripping off here. And so basically what I'm doing is drawing that, as an overall shape. But then I want to break it up. And to do that, you want to think in terms of like Kirby Crackle. And what that is, if you're not familiar, so you use circles and they need to be dark. Otherwise it doesn't look like Kirby Crackle. And you create a bit of a pattern. And the easiest way to do this that I've learned is you do one large, medium, and then one small. And you just keep changing that up. This one would be larger, large, and then medium, and then small. And anyway, I just kind of create these sorts of organic patterns. And here's another one. And the light stuff ends up looking like energy. You guys are familiar with that, right? Okay, so what I want to do is kind of think in those terms just a little bit. So I'm going to put a shape here, and then I'm going to put a shape here. Let me zoom in because this is like easy to do. And I really want to show you. This is actually a really good question. I like that question a lot. I went to the wrong thing. Hold on. Sorry. Zoom. Here we go.
Happy wants there to be room on the couch for him.
Yeah, I'm sure. Let me move the camera down. The nice thing is I actually switched back to my Brio and I can move it around without it just bricking on me. The old camera, if I move this thing at all, it would cut out. And never, okay, anyway. So I've got one large one, and then I'm going to put a small one here. Maybe another one here. I want to kind of break it up. And then I don't want it to all be one piece either. So I'm going to break off a little bit there. And now that I've got that, what I want to do is I'm going to fold this over. So this kind of comes under like that. And I'm going to do the same thing here. You could do it the other way too. It doesn't all have to be. And I'm going to stretch that here, put like maybe another little bit here. And now I'm just kind of adding to it, see? And I'm just kind of layering it. For this one, I'm going to go the other way. Like this. Add another little bit here. And so I'm kind of creating like these just interesting kind of tendril shapes. And I think it can look really complex, but really it's just some simple shapes knocked out of it. And then I just layer in the background. So just to keep it simple, stuff I put in the background, I'm just going to shadow. So this would be my layer just behind. So there you go. That's basically how I end up doing it. Obviously, I went with as simple a shape to start this as possible. So it's not like perfect, but that's basically it. And now it's all kind of tearing. So there you go.
All right. Thomas has a super chat for $10 for Dave or Meredith. What are some resources to learn about the cinematography of comics? Shot selection and composition, camera angle, position, pacing, etc. P.S. Are you going to MegaCon next year?
I will be at MegaCon. I will see you there. And actually, so will Comics and Coffee. So check them out too. I mean, I keep pushing them. They're such a good company though. And they send me free coffee. It's very nice. It's very good. So yeah, I will be there. And sorry, what was the question though?
Some resources.
Oh, right. And now this was for, what were the resources?
Learning about cinematography of comics.
Oh,
shot selection and composition, camera angle, pacing, etc.
Okay, Eric and Russ, correct me if I'm wrong here, and well, all you guys, but Marcus Mateo Mestra has a book called Framed Ink. Just look up Framed Ink if I got the name wrong. It's incredible. He is an absolute genius. There are a few books. He's actually got stuff on Perspective too. Highly yeah, Rappy says Framed Ink. Framed Ink. I recommend everything that he's put out. There is no better resource than that for storytelling, as far as I'm concerned. Storytelling, composition, and just the theory of how to put a picture together. It can get a little complex, as anything like that can be. Like, so many of these things are feel things, and to try and to try to break it down in a way that is repeatable and understandable is very difficult. And he does an incredible job, but it's inevitable that some things are just going to end up being a little esoteric for me. It's inevitable, but I learned so much from that stuff. And the other thing that I learned from it, because so much of storytelling and that kind of thing for me is intuitive. I learned how to diagnose when I have problems. You know, I don't like the shot, and then I can remember what I learned in that book and say, okay, it's kind of breaking this rule or breaking that rule, because breaking rules is fine, but when it's not working, it really helps to know the rules.
Cool. Mike Snitzer has a super chat for $200 US.
$200. Jeez.
Hey,
oh, thank you so much, Mike.
Hey, D&M. Big super chat to show my love and share a few updates. One, I got your Walking Dead Deluxe 30 cover from Jason on Friday. Two,
awesome.
Kelly Jones killed the cover for my original Art Comics, OA Comics Deli Duo exclusive.
I actually, you know, I talked to Mike on the phone a couple weeks ago about he told me that he had Kelly Jones doing a cover. So he's got an exclusive cover. Does he say where it's available?
No. 3, I'll be at Artist Alley at Rhode Island Comic Con November 4th to 6th. 4, can Russ plug my shop?
Yes. Yeah. Anyway, so I talked to him about it a little bit a while ago, and yeah, it was pretty exciting getting a Kelly Jones cover. I mean, you guys all know Kelly Jones is one of my heroes artistically, so I was pretty thrilled. So that's awesome. You know what? I'd love to see it. Hopefully you can update us with a picture. Maybe we can show it on the stream and give everybody a link where they can find it. But yeah, thank you very much, Mike. I really appreciate it. And it's great to see that it's coming out and it's a reality.
I have a hard time balancing my computer and the dog because he's not really a lap dog. And my microphone. Oh, jeez. Oh, goodness. Okay. Stop touching the computer. Stop touching. I'm having troubles. Okie dokie.
While Meredith fights with the dog, I got nothing to say.
Oh, I'm getting there. Okie dokie. Chris Reader says, greetings all. Sorry for my tardiness.
Good to have you here whenever you can get here.
8 says, Darkchilde was my favorite New Mutant back in the day. Her backstory was messed up, so I sympathize with her always being connected to Limbo. Thanks for the video.
Well, yeah, my pleasure. And yeah, I'm such a huge fan of that era of X-Men. And her backstory really gets explored and actually I did this, it was a book of the week a couple years ago now, in New Mutants. I can't remember the number, unfortunately, but it was in New Mutants. It was basically New Mutants during the Inferno crossover, X-Men Inferno crossover. And some of my favorite art too. So not only is it really a powerful story, but it's such great artwork.
Then Eric and Russ are just talking about Framed Ink. Russ posted a link to Framed Ink.
Awesome. Yeah, it's phenomenal. He has a much deeper understanding, frankly, of perspective and storytelling. He's a real student of the genre. And I mean, look, I feel like I am. I certainly feel that way, but you see somebody like Marcus Matteo Mistra, and you realize just how much more there is to know. And it's humbling and invigorating at the same time.
Steve King has a super chat for $10. Steve says, first I have to yawn.
Steve says, first I have to yawn?
No. I got my copy of the
Wake up, Steve.
book.
Oh, awesome.
I love the Walking Dead layout. I got as part of my pledge. Any chance of an oversized edition for season 2? Printed at the 11 by 17 art size, like IDW's artist editions?
You know, that never crossed my mind. My hesitancy with that is shipping would get potentially really expensive. So I don't know, but it would be awesome. What I do know that we're definitely going to do is we're going to collect the first 3 seasons once we have those into one big book.
Greg L. Static Art has a super chat for $1.99. Hey guys, the only reason I could say happy Monday. LOL.
Thank you so much, Greg. Meredith loves it too. She just doesn't love it before we start.
Johnny Gonzalez has a super chat for $5. Mr. Finch, do you prefer to draw tech or nature settings as far as backgrounds?
I prefer to draw tech. No contest. I love drawing cool technology and stuff. It's by far my favorite. Lately I've been drawing a lot more nature, especially, doing Walking Dead covers. I'm doing a lot of nature and I love it. But yeah, cool tech backgrounds. I started drawing Cyberforce. That was my first book. And so much of my early study was in that stuff. And then so many of my favorite artists, like Ghost in the Shell, Shiro Masamune, and I might be saying that backwards, but either way, his tech stuff, I just love it. So I'm a big fan of that from way back.
Waiter Shush has a super chat for $6.98. Hey D and M and Flock, happy Tuesday morning from Singapore. Just saying hi and hope you caught the Singapore Grand Prix over the weekend, Dave.
I sure did.
From Hater.
Good to see you here. Yeah, Singapore Grand Prix, Meredith. Absolutely nuts.
Yeah.
14 cars. So every race, 20 cars starts. 14 cars ended up finishing. It was all on wet. Lewis Hamilton spun out twice. Max Verstappen spun out. And it could have been Ferrari. I thought Ferrari. Eric was so disappointed. He thought Ferrari was going to take it, but it went to Sergio Checo Perez, and I can't be. I love that guy, so I was pretty happy. And my favorite racer, who is potentially out of the sport, unfortunately, but Daniel Ricciardo had a great race. He came in P5, so it was great.
Cool.
Didn't you want details? I figured you wanted.
Oh, I do. Yeah, give me details.
You know what the sad part is?
Hear enough about Formula One.
Yeah, as terrible as this is here. See, the thing is, she can't shut me up here as easily because I do this to her at home too. By the way, it's not just here. I will wake up in the morning and tell her all about the race, and she, to your credit, Meredith, you sit and humor me, which I appreciate.
I mean, I love you.
Yeah, I love you too. I talk about your horses.
No, but you feed them.
No, I do. Come on. You talk about your horses all the time. And I go, yeah, that's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, horses. They're the best. Yep.
They are the best. Are the best. Creator has a super chat for $5. Hey, Dave. I've been gesture drawing. I do good until I get to the legs. Can you just draw a quick gesture so I can see your process?
Sure.
Thank you.
I'm going to finish this. Man, this figure's going to take forever.
Is it? Are you kidding me?
Look, it is what it is. It's going to be done in 2 hours. We got to be done. That's the one thing.
You have to, because this is the commission.
You can see I had this.
You have to finish it after.
I will have to finish it after. And this is part of the negotiation with keeping Meredith from quitting is I have to finish at 10. So, and I'm always torn. Like, I know you guys want to see the finished picture, and we mostly get there, and sometimes we get there, but I also want to be able to do this stuff too. So I'm gonna lay out a figure. I should have him standing, I guess. So first of all, let's look at a figure we're looking down at the figure. So here's his head. Here's his body. There's his neck right there, armhole here. And you're good with this part. So here's basically a tube for his stomach, midsection, hand. Here's another hand, arm. I want this all to line up because I'm in perspective here. I didn't draw my perspective, but I'm keeping it in mind. And, this stuff gets easier as you go along. Look, that's actually too long. So let me fix that. You'll find you'll naturally be able to draw figures in perspective without having to do all this planning. But if it is something that's giving you trouble, and I think to start, you're better off. So there's my body without legs. What I'm going to do for my legs is, and part of the reason you have trouble, if I draw a tube, here's a leg, here's my knee, and here's my lower leg, it's very, very flat. And so if I draw that on my figure here, here's my leg, my knee, and my lower leg, like this. Here's another leg, my knee, and my lower leg. You can see that it's fine. It's just a little flat. A leg actually has a real curve to it. So here's the top of my leg, my knee goes here, and then the bottom of my leg actually curves. You can see I could draw a line through it just like this. Now that's an exaggeration and it's off the page, but that's basically true. And so you really want to bear that in mind when you draw a leg like this. And so I'm going to draw the top of my leg, I'm going to curve it way in, my knee goes here, and then I'm going to curve back out. Also, I like drawing this kind of a shape for my lower leg here. So let me fix that a bit. And then thin it out for the ankle. This leg, we're going to do the same thing. So there you go. That's a much more natural leg, and it's following kind of more of that curve. If you're not putting that curve in there, that could be a big reason why you're having trouble getting your legs to work with your figure. And it works like that from any angle. If I was to draw a figure, I'll do one more, Meredith, and we'll stop. So I'm looking up at the figure. I've got an arm coming out, this way. Here's the back of my head, my pelvis. I want to give that some shape like this. And so here's a hole for one leg, a hole for the other leg, and my other arm is kind of there. So hand. And so when I draw the leg, if I draw, and I'm not going to do it this time, but if I draw just a flat tube, it looks awful. So what I want to do is really follow that curve. And so here's my upper leg, my knee, and then my lower leg. And I'm going to draw that shape again, but I really want to flow along that there. And here's my other leg. Same deal, basically. So really getting comfortable and familiar with the curvature of the leg will make a big difference. That's not perfect, obviously, but there you go. That could be why. And this is me not looking at what you're doing, but that's kind of taking an assumption. So hopefully that's helpful. That one is not working.
All right. Sorry, my screen blipped. Gotta figure out where I'm at. Michael Johnson Curry has a super chat for $9.99. Micah said, was doing studies of early image founders' marble work, and compared to modern work, there seems to be a lack of dynamism. Sure. Dynamism. Flat angles, static angles, etc. Is this due to editing, or is this changing taste?
Now he's saying it's less dynamic now?
I guess so, yeah.
I'll tell you, the main culprit for that is comics in the 90s was very art focused. The artists with the celebrities, writers were such also rans in comparison. And all of the, people bought comics because they liked the art. And if they liked the story, you'd have a successful comic. Obviously, that would be a huge bonus. It made a big difference. But really, the stars were the artists. And so that started giving artists a lot of leeway to really take over and just do whatever the heck they wanted with the script. And so you'd have artists just, I showed you, a page with like 4 panels, and you have your establishing shot, which needs to be a decent enough size to establish everything. And then you have a couple of close-up shots. Well, you'd have artists that would just cancel all that stuff and put a big, massive splash of 2 figures on the page and a couple little elements to maybe suggest a scene, but they didn't even really care that much about establishing a scene a lot of time. So yeah, you got more dynamic shots, and ideally from artists that did it really, really well. Let me give you a good example. Greg Capullo does his own storytelling, and he is a master storyteller. Everything works perfectly. He's peerless at it. And so that's an artist that can do his own storytelling and make it better. Well, a lot of artists couldn't, and they had more power than, maybe they should have. And it was, as much as it breaks my heart, because I'm an artist, right? Comics, I think, were largely saved by a greater focus on writing. There just aren't enough Greg Capullos out there.
Right. Oh no, I gotta go. Jimmy Reyes Art's on the stream.
Hey, Jimmy!
It's time for me to leave.
If only we knew it was that easy.
My nemesis.
Yeah. Meredith's most hated enemy. Yeah. Good to have you here, Jimmy. We've gone dark.
I'm sorry. I'm dealing with some other stuff. I'm dealing with my own stuff right now.
Yeah.
Art Apprentice wants to know, when doing 15-minute gesture drawings, I find it difficult to quickly get to the relative length of the back, legs, and arms correct.
Yeah, and you'll find it gets easier and easier as you do it more. You need to be aware of it. If you've gone too long, start making those mental adjustments. If you're having to measure every time you draw a figure, it's just not a tenable thing. It needs to become automatic, and it will. So if it's not, and actually the fact that you're aware of it means that I wouldn't be surprised if by this time next week you'll have that sorted out. You just have to sort it and compensate. If they're always too short, make them longer. If they're always too long, make them shorter. You can very easily overcorrect. I've done that. But yeah, it's all stuff, and this is part of the reason, dynamics is one thing, but proportion, a lot of those things that just can't be measured every single time. Like I didn't measure this figure, I just couldn't. And let me zoom out. So it's a natural part of the process. And get my reference.
Mar says, OMG, David, you're my biggest inspiration.
Oh, well, thank you very much.
And Michael Johnson Curry says, Merit, to clarify my question, I meant modern comic art in general. Less dynamic. Yeah,
look, there's in general, sure, I would agree. And that is a big.
Oh, maybe he's saying, was doing studies of early Image founders' Marvel work, and compared to modern work, there seems to be a lack of dynamism.
Oh, so he thinks it's more dynamic now?
Maybe that's what he's saying.
Well, call me biased. I think it's more dynamic then, but at a cost. But I'm biased, so I don't know.
Tagamon Monowork says, every comic art stream needs a nemesis.
There you go. Jimmy's a very good nemesis. He's mostly unlikely to kill you in your sleep.
Sketching the Beast wants to know if Art Jedi is on. Wonder where Art Jedi is. Where's Tomic? Is Tomic on? Tomic is gone.
He was earlier. He was here earlier.
Was he?
Yep. Yeah, yes. He mentioned New York, remember?
Oh, yeah, that's right. Tom Teacher says, the other thing about proportion is there's almost always some foreshortening. So you have to kind of know the rules to break them.
Yes, and foreshortening does not have hard and fast rules in a way that is useful. You can't say, okay, it's at this angle, so it's going to be exactly this much shorter. It's just not possible. So a good portion of it, and this is why this sort of gesture sketching is so important.
Artisan 1979 says, Meredith, when I was a kid, I saw the Phantom of the Opera as my nemesis.
Yeah, that's a good nemesis.
And Kenny Wang is here, so it's time for us all to go.
Did you know Phantom of the Opera ended its run, or is ending, one or the other? Anyway, it's finished.
That show has been playing somewhere since I was a kid.
Now,
that is a long time, people.
I don't mean just somewhere. I mean on Broadway. It's been around for 25, 30, anyway, a long time. So, yeah.
I think everybody and anybody who wants to see it has probably seen it.
Twice.
More than that.
Yep. We saw it.
We did.
We actually, so someone who works on the show, he does a lot of the prop stuff and set stuff. Anyway, we got to go backstage and see all the props and all that kind of thing. That was awesome. I got to sit in the chair. Remember that?
Mm-hmm. I remember.
Pretty cool.
Adam Meyer says, has a super chat for $5. Adam says, looking great, Dave.
Thank you very much, Adam.
The Captain Supercat says, I made it. Are you doing a book of the week this week?
Yeah, no, I'm not late.
No, you're not.
Yep, got it all queued up. You'd think having the dog here would make the cat not want to be here, but it's not seem to be going that way.
No, he doesn't chase her down here. He's just sleeping right now. Right? Is he over there on the carpet sleeping?
I think he's gone. Maybe went upstairs.
Oh, I think he's here somewhere. I heard him.
All right. Anyway.
But I'm not getting up to check.
Okay, fair enough.
I don't care that much.
No.
So, Dave, what did you do today? Did you get done what you wanted to get done?
I did.
Were you working on a video?
No, I was working on my page. I turned in a cover last night. And I'm working on my page. And she's got a tail.
Yeah, don't forget her tail. It's like a demon, devilly tail.
Yeah. And I
can you remember what it looks like?
Hang on.
It's right over there. It's literally just got an arrow at the end of it.
So I have this. You can't really see it, but there's a statue of this character right over here. And you probably couldn't hear a word I said. I said, you can't really see it, but there's a statue of the character right there. And she does have that on the end of her tail. Okay, there we go. Wake up.
I'm fine. Again, just dealing with some stuff going on with the horses on my cell phone. Just dealing with a vet visit. David Rist says, your lessons are gold. Oh, maybe he's not talking to you. I think your lessons are gold anyway.
Thanks. Who's he talking about?
I don't know. It looks like it was gold though. So, oh, it says, Dave, do a run on a comic. That's what he's saying. But your lessons are gold though.
Oh, thank you.
There's lots of comics Dave's done runs on.
Yeah, it's been a little while.
Nothing recently.
It's been a few years. I don't know if I'll ever do like a run again. I'm not going to stop doing
covers.
Yeah, well, more than just covers. Meredith keeps just trying to get me to just do covers. I won't just do covers. I'll go crazy. I like doing interiors. So I'm not going to stop. But doing a monthly book might be more than I want to do. All right.
Jason Duran has a super chat for $19.99. Jason says, hello, Dave and Meredith. Dave, do you have any tips on adding rain to your panels instead of just making lines all over your artwork?
Okay, well, making lines all over your art is a big part of it, truthfully. So it depends on how... okay, hold on. let me just get this erased. Okay, so here's my panel. If I want, I can just go in and I'm going to say, here's my angle, basically like this. And I can just, I'll start dark here and do it like speed lines a little bit. And so here I am doing lines, and now I'm going to draw a line and break it up and add some like circles for drops of rain. Maybe I'll put a thicker one here, and so I've got my figure here, and here he is. And I'm going to draw some rain behind him. And then every once in a while, maybe not across his face quite like that. Like I don't want it to be distracting. I'll put some rain in front of him. But most of it's behind him. So it looks like he's in front of the rain. I have used a ruler for this before. And I found it's not really necessary. As a matter of fact, I remember using a ruler for rain and driving myself crazy. And then Mike Turner came in and just basically threw some lines down. They looked beautiful. And I thought, oh, why am I doing this? So I stopped. So there you go. That's basically how to put rain in. And then I can put little droplets all over my character. There's some drops, whatever, and it looks like obviously it's a bit more of a process. I erase the line. So if I've got my arm here, I'll draw, a droplet along it. And then I can go in with my eraser. If I can find it, I'm going to erase this down and just have my droplets. And obviously that ends up looking a lot more wet. And then if I wanted to put a building in the background, so let's say back here, I've got a building. I've got some windows. I can go darker behind it. And so it's covered by more rain than the figure. But so the figure is closest to us is covered by very little rain. If I do put rain across it, I could even like double it up and erase the figure behind that. And so it really pops it forward. And then this will be covered by more rain because it's further back, and the further back you go. So I'm going to draw another building here. And then like behind this, will be really dark, So I can really push things back that way. So that's how I would approach it, which is, it's a lot of lines. I don't know a better way, unfortunately. I'm sorry.
All right. Next super check comes from Andrew Law Art for $5. Thank you so much. I was wondering more how balloons are placed to flow panel to panel through the pages. Are they placed to correspond to the next balloon? Oh, yeah. I'm truthfully the wrong person to ask for that one. I don't really do balloon placement. Yeah, you do want them to flow. But yeah, I draw the art. I try to leave room for balloons. Beyond that, that's a job I leave to the writer. So maybe you could answer that one, Meredith. You ever have to do balloon placement? I don't do it. I will fix a balloon placement, but that's what the letter's job is. I mean, there may be writers that are more heavy-handed than I am.
There are. I've seen it.
Well, I'm one of those. Hire the person who does the job and let them then get out of their way. Right. And so I only fixed a balloon placement if it was in a bad place. Otherwise, they put the balloon in the empty space. So yeah, the truth is that if I tried to answer your question, and I apologize for this, but I really would just be pulling an answer out of my butt because I don't actually know. That's not something I've ever put. They place balloons in a way that makes it flow, like that if draws your eye across the page and from panel to panel. So, I mean, you want to be able to read left to right, and they should naturally flow from top to bottom. Yeah, it makes sense. But, beyond that, it's a question we don't know the answer to, unfortunately. Allison just texted me. She does lettering. She said, hold on. That's what I do when I get a lettering job. So there you go. What'd she say? What I just said, I think. Oh, okay. Okay. Johnny, she's still texting, so I'll get back to you. Johnny D is a super chat for $2. Johnny D says, hey, Dave, Meredith, holler at your boy. I made it. Good to have you here, Johnny.
Holler at your boy. Makes me feel old. I don't know any of the new expressions, you know?
All right. It's 9 o'clock.
Is it? Okay.
It's time for the book of the week.
All right.
That's about all you're going to get out of me tonight. There's no singing tonight.
I got music to watch this.
Okay. Is that my music? It is my music.
Yeah.
You're not doing any kind of fade out?
Boom. Fade. All right.
See, when I have the control of the soundboard, I do so much better.
It's a lot better. It's true. Okay, so this is going to be a very different book of the week. This is Run for Cover, The Art of Derek Riggs. Derek Riggs did all of the Eddie Iron Maiden art back in the 80s. And I have, look at that. I have a sketch from him. So I met him in Colorado. This is one of my favorites right here. Look at this. This is awesome stuff. So this is all done with gouache. And a lot of airbrush, you can see. He's got a can of Raid. I think he's kidding. I don't know. Hopefully he's kidding. Anyway, so this covers his career all the way from the beginning. He did a lot of heavy metal stuff. I'm going to tell you here. I don't want to wreck my book. I hope you understand. So yeah, a lot of very cool heavy metal stuff. This is a Dick Morrissey album that he did. Steve Gibbons band. So he's got a bunch that are very cool. I mean, check that out. It's like really cool looking early 80s kind of, you know, techno stuff. And this is his first Iron Maiden painting. Look at that, Meredith. Absolute quality. This stuff for me, you don't understand. When I was a kid, because this is done in 1979, released in 1980. I was 8 years old, and this was like the craziest, scariest, coolest thing I ever saw in my life. All the older kids had this on the back of their jacket. So back in the day, you remember this, Meredith? Everybody would wear a jean jacket, and they would have the patch on the back. Everybody. Anyway, this is a popular one.
You're way older than I am.
Yeah, a year.
No, you're way older than I am.
So yeah, and it covers just a ton of like extra art that he did at the time. You know, some of it for different songs. This is another one I've drawn this picture here. Now I haven't drawn it since I was a teenager, but I drew this specific picture probably 10 times. I did it for friends. I would just copy this picture. It's I think probably my favorite one. And the cooler stuff actually comes a little bit later. So I'm not going to go all the way to the end of the book because I mean there's so much cool stuff, but I just want to show you the stuff that was really, really formative for me, because this is the stuff that I liked in high school. Really, before I got into comics. I got into comics after high school. For me, art was this. Before that, that's one of my favorites. This is from Peace of Mind, one of their great songs.
Here we go. Did you say great songs?
Yeah, it's an album.
Wow.
Trooper. Yeah, that's awesome. But what I want to get to, I'm just going to skip ahead through some really amazing stuff. And, you know, just because that is one of my absolute favorites. Actually, I did this picture.
You say that every time. That's my absolute favorite.
I said one of my, you know what, just look at your horses on wherever. So this is Power Slave. I actually drew this picture for someone at a convention just a couple years ago. Where is it? So I was a little bit older. This is it. I was older when this came out. This is 1986. And so I was
45.
45. Yeah. I was born in 72. So 14, whatever. I was a teenager. 14? I can't think about 14. Thank you. Yeah. Anyway, this figure here, I actually drew this I failed art in high school twice. And part of the reason was I would just sit down in art school. I failed art class in high school twice. I would just sit down and draw this. And I did like the greatest picture, at least I thought at the time. It's probably not the best now, but whatever. I was so happy with it, of this figure. And I failed, you know, because it wasn't the assignment, which, you know, fair enough. But yeah, stuff still puts such a smile on my face and just makes me so incredibly happy. So to have it all in one place, I was like, I couldn't believe it. And there's one more picture and then we'll stop. It's only 9:04. Wait for Meredith to get upset here. That's a big one for me, but come on, where are you? Hopefully I didn't pass it. I might have passed. I passed it. Darn it. Anyway, whatever. Then it shows some of his later work. He actually started experimenting with some 3D, like really early on in the whole 3D kind of boom. It's never my favorite. I think it's great to see the experimentation. You look back on it, and it obviously doesn't hold up a lot of the early 3D stuff. This is 96, so quite a bit later. Very, very cool looking picture. Really kind of harkens back to his earlier stuff. But yeah, it's a big, huge, thick book. He is like the nicest guy in the world too. I got to talk to him at the convention, and yeah, I was absolutely thrilled to get. I drew this picture too, probably 4 or 5 times. I don't know, a lot. All of this stuff. So yeah, this is for me my history. Like this is my formative stuff. Wanting to be an artist. Darn it. I'm not going to find it. You know what? I'll stop. I'll be here all day trying to find a picture. This is a thick book, but this is, Run for Cover, The Art of Derek Briggs. It's got an ISBN. I don't know if you can find it in a store, but I do certainly know that you can find Derek Briggs at a lot of conventions. He does quite a few, and you can buy this from him and get a sketch, which is what I got. I don't mean this as an advertisement for the book but I was pretty thrilled. So anyway, there it is. That's my book of the week. And I'm not apologizing. It's not a comic. I know, but it's such a big one for me.
All righty. Greg L. Static Art has a super chat for $1.99. Greg says, Dave, I emailed you for the shipping address.
I got it. Yes. Thank you, Greg. I have it. So yes, we'll get that shipped out.
Cycle Pumping says, just saw Iron Maiden in concert 2 weeks ago.
Oh, I've never seen them in concert. How amazing. Yeah, I've never seen them in concert. That would be awesome. I'm sure they're still great. Iron Maiden, they're the band that does. Are you even sort of?
Hicks says, I think this one is hard to find. It's out of print.
The Iron Maiden book?
I guess so.
Well, I know you can find it at conventions anyway. So yeah. They do Run for the Hills, so we play a lot of, or we did years ago, play a lot of rock bands. We still every once in a while do. And Run for the Hills is like 11 minutes or some crazy number. And yeah, we pulled that on the Wives a couple of times. Oh no, we've done it. It has happened.
One time.
Yeah, maybe once.
And then you had a full rebellion on your hands.
It's a good song though. It's just a little long. All right, going quiet again.
I'm just reading through the chat, Dave. Johnny D has a super chat for $5. Johnny says, Meredith, Dave be like, don't correct me. This is my show.
That's right. Telling me that I'm mansplaining.
You were.
It's the first time somebody's accused me of that. There you go.
Wow. You don't normally do it. I don't know why you thought you needed to explain Inktober to me.
I didn't realize this was a thing for you,
Who's on the thought page more than you?
No. Mansplaining. I didn't realize that you were a...
Well, there seemed to be only one word for what was happening there.
Really? Okay. So what do you call it when you do it?
I'm enlightening you of your ignorance.
Right. Okay. Fair enough.
But you don't know what I'm talking about when I'm explaining things to you.
All right. Okay.
Tell me something that I explained to you that you already knew.
Oh, I got nothing.
You can call it mansplaining. How about that?
All right. There you go.
You can mansplain and I'll mansplain.
Perfect.
Ramen Knight has a super chat for $5. I haven't caught a stream in a while. How was your day?
Well, first of all, thank you for coming and spending Monday with us again. Mine was good. I managed to get to the gym. I've been going to the gym pretty much every day during the week, and I'm finally not feeling pain at the end of it. So it's been going really well. And I got started on a page today, which also felt really good just to get back to my create your own book. So it's been a good day, all in all.
Good. Navy Shark says a super chat for $10. Navy Shark says, "Hi Dave, hi Meredith. Just wanted to wish everyone a happy Flocktober."
There you go. See, we should have done Flocktober, but we didn't know. Now we know. Next year.
I'm on the stream page. I knew people wanted to do Flocktober.
Oh, okay.
But I don't say anything because you don't have enough time to do what you're doing as it is.
Okay, yeah. Truth be told, I would love to do that. I'm so behind all the time. Like, I'm actually caught up with Walking Dead covers right now, but I'll be behind again in no time, and it's always a problem. So, yeah, I love doing them, but
you're gone, leaving Wednesday.
Yes, and this is part of the problem.
Week, so.
Yeah, part of the thing that ends up knocking me behind is I go to conventions, I'm gone for a week. It's really difficult to come back and then just jump right into things. I end up losing usually. I try not to, but I lose a little bit of time, like a day where I just, or at least part of the day, I just don't get anything done. So not only is it the time of the show, but it's also a little bit of recovery. I am introverted, so like I find I have to recover. I love doing this, by the way, everyone. Like, don't get me wrong, but I do kind of have to unwind after doing this. I'm a little keyed up.
FYI, Allison McGlone says it was definitely a mansplain.
Oh.
So there you go. Calls him like I sees him.
All right.
Dennis Kelly says you need that recovery grub, Dave. No pain after.
Yeah, Dennis, you are so right, because and not just pain, but fatigue. Like I feel stronger, but I also, like, I've been wiped out all day, like really tired. So I need to start, taking something.
They said they make you shakes at the gym.
I know, but you have to actually go and get one. And I never do. I just keep, like today, I just want to get out of there and get back. It was already late. Our truck has fallen apart again. So we had to bring it in this morning. Well, it needed brakes a week ago. This week, the steering, we've got trouble, and it needs anyway, again, it's an older truck now. It's, what is it?
What year is it?
2015.
Oh, it's that old.
Anyway, so yeah. But it meant that I needed to wait for Meredith to get home. And then we went, we drove together, dropped it off. But by the time I got back from the gym, it was already so late. I tried to jump right into work.
Captain Supercat has a super chat for $5. Any suggestions on drawing the cuffs on gloves?
Sure. Okay. I don't like her hair. I'm going to have to fix it. Let me do that right now because it's going to drive me crazy. I'm sorry, but I got to do it.
I liked her hair.
Just the top. Just didn't work. For me, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but I just glanced at it and I didn't like it. So it's getting fixed. Try something different. I'm going to leave it like that for a while so I have time to forget it. This is like my hack for trying to fix things. I don't quite know what's wrong with it. I just leave it gone for a while, and then when I try again, I just try something different. If I tried to draw it right away, I'd do the same thing again. Okay, so gloves.
On gloves.
Right. So I've got my glove. Here's my hand, right? I'm not going to draw the whole hand, but there you go. So I need a cuff. And so I'm going to draw a circle, not a circle, but you know what I mean. One of those, a ring. And here's my wrist. And so there it is in its most simple form. That's if you want to do like a, more of a kind of stylized cuff. But obviously you're not going to leave it like that. It's pretty simple, but that's the basic shape. And it really is actually helpful to think in terms of basic shapes like that. Like hats are the same thing. So here's my head. I'm looking up.
What's the matter, buddy?
Looks like you hurt his foot. I think you stepped on something. Okay, so to draw my hat, I'm going to draw a band around his head, and my head is rounded like that. So I'm going to draw a band there, and then draw a flat ring there, and then the top of my half goes there. It's way too big, but you get the picture. Imagine I didn't screw that up, and there we go. So, and that's, again, very simple. Like, you want to give it a little character, but okay, so here we are. I'm going to lighten this down. Now what I want to do is I'm going to create a bit of a lip. So I'm just going to give it an indent like this, and then give it a little shape so it's not just a flat line. And I'm doing the same thing I would do on a cape. I've done this over somebody's shoulder so many times, and I've shown this a few times. Here's the other side, same deal, and then a little hit right there. And that gives it basically a kind of a shape just like that. And that is really it. That's all there is to it. It's very, very easy. If I'm going to give my cape over his shoulder. So that goes over. And then because this side of it is going to be just a little bit closer than that, I'm going to cross this side over. And then I do the same little thing. And I can just do this over and over again and end up with a cape going over his shoulder. Same deal. And Richard, yes, I just drew Indiana Jones. That was it. All right.
All right. Next super chat comes from Creator for $5. One more question, Dave. How do you study clothing folds like from Leyendecker? Did you do a tutorial on that?
I did. It didn't involve any study from other artists or anything like that. So it's a pretty valid question that doesn't have a tutorial answer on my channel anyway. So the way that I would study it is, because Eric has kind of gone through this just recently. He was looking at Gary Frank. We were talking about that a couple weeks ago. The first thing that I would say is just draw it. Just, methodically go through the hassle of just drawing it. Don't even try and understand it. Just draw it. You would be amazed at how much you pick up. Just like looking at something, you don't pick much up. Drawing it, you pick up a lot. You'd be truly amazed. So do that first. And then you really have to appreciate with Leyendecker, something that makes him such a genius is he doesn't just draw folds. He draws his stuff from reference, or did. I mean, this is old work. But he would edit for big, attractive shapes and little creases and weird little folds that didn't really add. He would just eliminate, and that's a skill, I'll tell you. But I would say, yeah, just draw it and see what you picked up, and try and do the same thing you do with figures a lot, which is to draw it and then try and repeat it on your own as best you can. Repeat a lot of the shapes that you were drawing, because the fact is that with folds, there are only so many shapes. So when you learn enough of them, and then you learn where they go, you learn tension points and drape points, then it gets actually quite a bit easier. But you know what? It is a tough thing. Like, it can take a while to really get really good at folds. And it's something that I find with artists that are trying to learn, amateur artists, it tends to be a weakness for sure. So, if you can get really good at it, it's a big leg up over your competition.
Perfect. Johnny D is a super chat for $5. Johnny wants to know, what is it with these annoying terminology these days? Explanations are called mansplaining, annoyance are called pet peeves, and photos are called selfies.
When I was a kid, we used to walk uphill to school both ways through the snow. We're old. Yeah, you know what? People like being upset. And I think the internet really encourages that from all of us. Whatever your viewpoint is on anything, it's a shame. It's taken away a lot of it. Like when you're talking to somebody face to face, it's very difficult, I think, to be truly vicious. But it is more difficult, unless you're Meredith, to be.
I was gonna say, I have no trouble being vicious too.
Yeah, I know. Being cruel and vicious to somebody online is just too easy. And I think it's also people. A lot of people say things that are deliberately provocative online that they might not say to people that they care about. And it's a shame. It is what it is. Like, it's not like I'm saying, hey, here's a salute, whatever. I'm not a pundit, but yeah, we have become meaner to each other, which is a shame.
81 Modus has a super chat for $10. Met Brandon Peterson at a local library, and he had great things to say about you. Also, I'm a competent portrait artist, but drawing proportional figure in motion and foreshortening falls apart. Any tips?
Yes. Now, first of all, Brandon is a really phenomenal artist and a great guy. I see him not as much as I would like to. I saw him, I think the last time where we really got to hang out was a few years ago. I can't remember where we were anymore. You know what? I never remember the city.
Dave, everything was a few years ago.
I know, that's a thing, yeah. But yeah, Brandon is great. So yeah, I'm glad you got a chance to talk to him. As far as it goes, learning how to become a good portrait artist is a very, very difficult skill. And learning how to draw figures from your head is a very difficult skill too. And I'm certainly not going to say one is harder than the other. Certainly, I'll tell you what, for me, learning how to paint well is harder. So I think it's, I spent so many years doing this that trying to do what you do is a real challenge for me. But I think that the main secret is to know that there is no secret to it. It really is. You have to just do tons and tons of studies. It needs to be just a part of what you do. And while you're doing the study, like you want to do studies, try and do them on your own, just from memory, and just keep going back and forth and fill sketchbooks with it. You will get better at it, unless it's something you're doing every day. Like if you're and I find this with painting, because I don't paint every day, it'll be like a week or a month or whatever between paintings. I get incredibly rusty, and it slows my growth quite a bit. And you'll find the same thing. It's just, it is what it is.
All right. Adam Mayer has a super chat for $5. Are you going to do Werewolf by Night for Halloween?
Yes, that is coming. Somebody mentioned The Howling, which I'd really like to do, but then Werewolf by Night, I mean, come on, that's actually where Moon Knight first appeared. It's Werewolf by Night. Did you know that?
It sounds familiar.
Yeah.
Cat just headbutted me in the face.
I've wanted that comic for ages. I have a big collection of collector comics.
But
pretty
you
big.
Don't have that one.
But I don't have that one. So one day.
Man, animals are just beating me up today.
They don't like you.
Is that true, Princess? Yeah, definitely. By the way, she's purring. She hates me.
She's just afraid you're going to accuse her of catsplaining.
Yeah, that's what it is. She's sucking up to me. She's going to stay on my good side. Well, puppy's limping because dog's playing to him.
All right. Joke's gone too far officially.
Is it?
Yeah.
And then I haven't taken it far enough. Navy Shark says the cat agrees with Werewolf by Night. She does agree.
This is what we've devolved to.
Gotcha News wants to know if you have any tips for tattoos. It's hard to wrap it around the body part I need it to.
I don't actually know. I've never.
But there are tattoo artists on here.
Yeah. If somebody has an answer for that.
123.
Yeah. Yeah, he's
PK Lays 123.
Yeah, Dan Lassard. Dan is probably asleep by now, honestly. Knowing Dan, he's sleeping. But I don't actually know how that's done. Look, I've got this, and obviously it had to be wrapped, but only just a little bit. It's not like a full wrap all the way around that I had to line up. So I actually don't have an answer for that. I don't have any tattoos that do that either. So
I don't have any tattoos, period. So
you're no help.
No, I didn't no help at all. JDSCT says, "Hey, Meredith Finch, just wondering, have you hit that like button yet?" Oh, well. I have not. And there's only 412 likes. So if I can hit the like button, you can hit the like button. I'm 414. 466 people are watching. So at the very least, 44 more people can hit a like button and be part of Dave's massive 286,000 subscribers. Don't miss out. Subscribe today.
$286. We're growing pretty fast. I just want to grow fast enough to do our next giveaway.
At 300?
Yep.
I still have one I haven't mailed out from the last one because it was going to a postal box. And I have a hard time mailing to postal boxes with FedEx. You can't.
So you didn't.
It's still sitting up there.
That's but
it's terrible. I haven't gone to FedEx. So it'll go out when your stuff goes out.
Okay, great. You know how long ago that was?
I know. I'm a terrible person. Talk to my 19-year-old. He'll agree.
No, I talk to him all the time, and yeah, we both agree.
Yeah, I know. Especially today. Rich Bear says I'm a tattoo artist too.
Well, there you go. See. Nope.
Tagmo Modelworks has a super chat for $5. I have that issue, Werewolf by Night number 32, graded at 9.2.
Wow, yeah.
I'm rubbing it in, sorry, but it took a while to save and get it.
Yeah, 9.2. That's a
nice copy.
Yeah. I've looked, and part of the reason I don't have it is just not a cheap book.
Nope.
At any grade, but 9.2, yeah, I don't even know. That's very, very impressive. The thing is, part of the reason why it's worth so much is it's not something that people obviously would have known to hang on to at the time. Like sometimes you can tell, hey, the first appearance of whatever, but it's a very obscure character in the beginning, and so many characters get introduced all the time in comics, especially around that time. They just never go anywhere. So, all right. Am I wrong? I don't know. I don't know what people think when they like. How do people know to save a comic, or do they just get lucky and they had it in the attic? I don't know.
Some people just know.
Some people know.
We aren't those people.
No.
Artisan 1979 says, I've got to get going. Awesome work as always, Dave. I'll see you next Monday.
Awesome.
No,
Thank
not
you.
next Monday because we're taking Thanksgiving.
Yeah, 2 weeks.
And hey, I'd love to see your take on Elektra as Daredevil.
Elektra as Daredevil?
Mm-hmm.
Be interesting. And thank you for coming by.
Tag says currently its fair market value is $3,400.
Yeah, that ain't cheap.
That is not a cheap comic.
Yeah, my ability to get comics is what I can get away with Meredith, and that's definitely pushing what I want to just have her find out I bought.
Yeah, that one's a conversation. How's it going? Looks good.
Thanks.
She's one of my favorite characters.
Mine too. I really wasn't thinking about just how long it would take to draw, but it's all right.
Alice McGlone says, I have it. I only have it because I went out of my way years ago to get all of Werewolf by Night and Tomb of Dracula. So
yeah, there you go. I think a lot of people that would have it because they were just collecting that series every issue, and so yeah. Well, hopefully Allison's is in good shape, and it's worth a lot. I don't know if she'd ever sell it, but if you ever do, hopefully it does really well.
Listen to her. She just said, I went out of my way.
Yes.
To collect all of Werewolf by Night.
Yeah.
And Tomb of Dracula. So no, she's not going to sell it.
Well, all I'm saying is if she ever does sell it, hopefully it does really well and she gets money. That's all I'm saying.
It sounded like you were pitching for it.
No, I'm not pitching for it.
Oh, this is the worst couch. How do you sit on it all day long? You're like, I don't. I sleep on it.
That was my answer. Yeah.
Well, I missed a couple of super chats. Here's one for Brad Scott Art for $25. Brad says, "Hola, Finch family. Any advice on how to pitch a comic when every company says they don't take unsolicited pitches? As always, Miss Meredith rocks. And as originator of the Miss Meredith rocks, I'm going to have to charge people for using MMR."
I don't know. And that is actually a really good question. People are so worried because, and you see it every once in a while, there'll be some passing resemblance in a character or a storyline. And then all of a sudden you have somebody claiming that it was taken from them. And it's a very difficult claim to fight. It's actually a very difficult case to win, but it never looks good for a company. They never want to deal with that. And so quite a few years ago, they all basically stopped taking unsolicited submissions for stories, certainly. I think the way around that is to publish it yourself. If it makes money, great, really. But if you want to get it out there or your work out there, if you publish it yourself and people like it and it gets a decent response, then you get yourself in a position where publishers are actually interested in seeing what you have and working with you. And so it becomes not something unsolicited. It's not easy to get there, but I think that would be the only way to go about it that I'm aware of.
Adam Mayer has a super chat for $5. Adam says, "I'm going to have to wiener-splain my last name." Just kidding.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, Oscar Mayer.
Yeah. I have said it right all night, right?
You have.
It's been pretty good.
Yeah. For any of you that weren't here over the last couple of weeks, it's because Meredith kept calling him Mayer.
I kept saying Mayer. And
not Meyer.
He corrected me and said it was Meyer.
And so then now she's thinking of
like the hot dog,
right.
Oscar Mayer. And then he upset him.
I'm pretty sure he wasn't all that upset.
Like loosely upset him.
Right.
And then it became our thing. Our hot dog thing.
Yeah.
Next time I'm going to call him Oscar instead of Adam. Do you have a couple of toothpicks down here?
No.
I can use to hold my eyelids open.
No, I am sorry. I don't. Keep it together. You're doing great.
Oh, Chris Dean says, "Dave, I was just wondering if you had heard about Carlos Pacheco announcing his retirement from the industry due to his recent diagnosis of ALS."
No, I have not.
I have. I forgot to mention it to you.
Oh, man.
Would love to see a show dedicated to him.
Yeah, that's going to happen. That's terrible. He's a huge influence on me and a really nice guy and a huge influence on me. I mean, it's hard to really overstate that. That is terrible.
On the positive side of things, Navy Shark says that no one can stay mad at me because I'm too awesomely adorable.
We're talking about you right now?
Yes, me. I mean, the whole world revolves around me.
Right now.
Why wouldn't we talk about me? Let's get back to what's important here.
Yeah, I'd really like to do something on Carlos Pacheco.
But doing something for your awesomely adorable wife.
I put up with you all the time. I mean, it's something, right?
Yeah, it's true. Adam Myers has a super chat for $5. Adam says, "Glad I can make things respectfully awkward."
Yeah. It's like my biggest fear to not be able to draw anymore.
Yeah, let's not. I hope that never happens because.
And yeah, to see it happen to an artist that is so incredibly talented, and
How old is Carlos Pacheco?
He's older than I am by a few years. So if I had to guess, I'm just going to throw out there 55.
Oh, yeah.
No.
What are we gonna? How will we pay the bills?
Yeah, honestly, I mean that's certainly obviously that's a factor. That's not really what I'd be thinking about. Just not being able to do it anymore.
59.
59. Yeah, my plan, I'll tell you guys all right now, is to do this until I fall over dead. I don't know what else I would do. I love drawing. So.
It's true. He does love drawing. Nikki a Lizardy wants to know, David Finch, what do you do when you have an artistic block?
So there are a few reasons for artistic block. One is just not wanting to work. The key to that is having a deadline that needs to get done, and that they will start having a look in a different direction. Like eventually, I don't care how much they like you, and hopefully they do. If you don't turn in work, well, sooner or later, eventually they're going to have to say, you know what, this is just not worth working with you, and you'll lose the job. So that's a good motivation to keep working. Also paying your bills, and it is a job, and you need to treat it like that. So I'd say definitely that. I want her chin to be a little smaller. I don't like it. I'm sorry. I'm like kind of thinking and what's that?
I don't know what you're even saying. You just trailed off.
I know. I'm kind of thinking and drawing. Okay. And another type of artist block, and I find this happens to me actually fairly often, is I'll just sit down and I feel like I'm not an artist. Like I don't mean like I feel like a fraud. I mean, I just feel like I just don't know what to do. Like there's just nothing there, and I find the best thing for me to do when that happens, because it does happen every few weeks where I just don't feel it at all, is I block in my major things just loosely. So I've got everything blocked in, and then I just start doing something tight and detailed, and put everything I've got into it. And once I've got something that I'm happy with, that gives me kind of a frame of reference for the rest of it, kind of feel a little grounded again, and I can keep going. It does happen. And yeah, actually, I just did a cover I posted on Instagram. It's Glenn finding Maggie. She's hung herself. Fortunately, she doesn't die, but she's in the woods. And it was a weird kind of a cover to draw. I just didn't feel it starting that cover. I was so uncomfortable. And so what I ended up doing is I got a bunch of reference for the woods. I have Hal Foster books. So I got some of those out, and I was looking for some trees. Now, those are all the kind of trees that I feel like, I don't need reference for, but just because I couldn't feel it, I decided to get some reference and see what I can find. So a lot of the smaller trees in the background, and even some of the bigger ones, like they're a taller, more of a North American kind of a tree. Anyway, whatever. I looked at that kind of stuff and started just trying to take it from there. And eventually I had enough things in there that it started feeling right. Also, he's got his cloak kind of pulled over. So I took reference of myself pulling a blanket around and used actual reference for that. Something I don't often do, but I just couldn't feel it. I think it made it better. I wouldn't want to have to work that way all the time, because it took longer just because I had to overthink everything so much. But yeah, sometimes I guess it's, you got to overthink. You got to do what you got to do. Sorry, this is a long answer.
All right. Radiant Dawn says, I'm looking forward to seeing you do Scorpion and Sub-Zero. I said this on your Facebook page already, but it'd be really interesting to see you draw Optimus Prime from Transformers.
Oof. That would be a really difficult one to do on a stream. I'm not saying I would never do it because it would be such a challenge. I think it'd be kind of interesting, but it would be hard for sure. This is the kind of costume. It looks cool, but drawing it panel to panel is just not really the easiest thing to do.
Yeah. Adam Mayer wants to know. No, I did that wrong. Adam Meyer.
Yeah.
No, I messed myself up tonight. But I caught myself. Has a super chat for $5. Wants to know, can you do a studio tour sometime, please?
Yeah, sure. Actually, yeah, I think that'd be fun.
Not tonight.
Yeah, okay, not tonight. Yeah, Meredith. She's kind of on the couch. She doesn't want to move, but yeah, let's do that. I've been keeping my office actually much cleaner lately.
You really have. It's impressive.
I got so sick of not being able to find anything. So,
Dr. Jackson has a super chat for $10. Long time watching, first time super chatting. Magic, Darkchilde, and her brother are my favorite characters, and I recently picked up your variant X-Infernus covers. You can fade very well. Thank you.
Thank you very, very much. I really appreciate it. Really having a little trouble here.
And Amy Morris has a super chat for $20. Holy smokes, my lovely wife has abandoned me to see My Chemical Romance after I treated them to Iron Maiden last Friday. How do I cope? Doing a Derek Riggs inspired tattoo, of course. Ain't no sandwich when she's gone.
That's awesome. If you guys remember, Derek Riggs is the Iron Maiden artist that we were just looking at just a bit ago.
And there was, all right. Isaiah Switcher has a super chat for $10. Oh, first time I've ever been able to watch live, and I showed up late. Oh well, I'll go back to the beginning. Magic is my favorite X person, and you're my favorite artist, so I'm stoked.
Well, don't go back to the beginning right now. We're still live. Otherwise, it won't be live, you know?
Allison McGowan has a super chat for $1.99. So who's your favorite, Hal Foster or Alex Raymond?
Hal Foster. And it's not really fair to Alex Raymond just because in some ways he's actually more copied. And so I'm a huge fan of Simon Bisley, who's very, very heavily influenced by Frazetta. But I found Bisley first, you know, and it's similar for me with Alex Raymond, you know, so many of the great artists like Al Williamson and I'm blanking right now. Sorry, but yeah. But if I had to pick, I would say Hal Foster.
Dan Genovese says, go back to the beginning and watch it at 2 times the speed. So Dave and Mara sound like they're sucking helium out of balloons. Yeah. Underwater Space Traveler says, whoa, my name is Isaiah. That was weird hearing her say that suddenly.
Yeah, Isaiah is not the most common name, is it?
No, it's not.
I don't know if it's more or less common than Isaac, but
less.
I think.
Yep. Supersonico says her hair looks beautiful.
Okay, well, thank you.
Dennis Kelly says this is excellent, Dave. And Corey Benson says, oh, draw a zombie werewolf for Halloween. No. No zombie werewolf. Werewolf by night. That's what you're doing, right?
It is. And I'll be doing, actually, because of Walking Dead and all the still not dry. Because of Walking Dead and a lot of the Walking Dead stuff that I'm doing, I will be doing a Walking Dead stream. I don't want to just say soon, but it's coming up. It's something that's planned, and I'm very excited about it.
You like the talking Walking Dead.
Talking about Walking Dead. Yeah. Not going to say any more than that.
One Mighty says, this looks dope, Dave.
Thank you, Mighty. See, there he is. We didn't have One Mighty R with us for a little while there. So it's good to have him back.
Craze the Hermit says, hey, first stream lurking, and my name is Isaac. And If Man One says, my name is Isaac. You guys make every Monday night weird.
Oh, when you make every Monday at that all, and then it just
weird.
Oh well. That's awesome. You're welcome.
Paul Floyd. All right, Flag, I have to put my son to bed. Our looks amazing as always, Dave. Hope you, Meredith, and the whole flock have a great evening. Until next week. Not next week. 2 weeks. 2 weeks, everyone. Next week is Thanksgiving for us.
Yes.
The Art of Wade King has a super chat for $5. Just sending some love from Florida. We are sending our love back to Florida and our prayers for everybody who got hit.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's a real devastation. That was a shock.
Yeah. Greg L. Art says, Dave, if I may ask, as an artist and content creator, what laptop do you use? He doesn't. He does not use a laptop.
Meredith does. She uses an Apple. Nobody in their right mind uses an Apple, which, the fact that Meredith uses one is pretty consistent with what I just said. I don't know. I've got a PC. I don't know what kind of computer I've got.
He doesn't have a laptop, though. He only uses his big PC.
Yeah. I have a pretty good computer, though, all in all.
The Chicken Ninja has a question. Have you ever been to Japan? I've got a booth at Tokyo Comic-Con. Any advice for working at a con? It's my first time at a venue this big. Okay, my first advice would be to get out and see Tokyo, because I've never been, and it's like my dream to go there. So just so I can, vicariously through you enjoy it, do that. I think the best thing that you can do at a show is just be as personable with everybody as you can possibly be, because not only for fans coming up, this is their experience of you as a person, and that will stay with them. If you're, not that pleasant, or you come across badly, that's going to be their forever impression of you. So, they say you only get one chance to make a good first impression. So yeah, there's that. The other thing is you'll have other artists and different people around you and just at the show. And it's a great chance to, if you've got a chance to get up and get away from the table for a minute, to get up and meet some of those people and start making some connections in the business. If that's something that you're looking to do, and most of us are, it's a good thing. So yeah, having a table means that you can come up and, you're talking to people a little bit more like a peer if you're starting out. And so, you can say, hey, I got a table over here. And then, you talk to people on more of a level where I think you can have a bit of a better interaction, just, from a trying to get work kind of a standpoint, puts you on the radar. And that's the idea. It is a very small business. They say it's who you know. I say, well, it's your work, but you know what? It is who you know also. It really is. And conventions are a great way to get to know people. And when I say it's who you know, you imagine you're an editor and you've got a job to fill. You're looking for the best artist you can find for something. I've had a few times, I've had people email or call and say, hey, do you have anybody you could recommend? Like, we're looking for somebody. And they're not, it's not like this is not what I do or anything. They're calling a bunch of people and they're just saying, hey, I can't think of anybody. Is there anybody you can think of? Well, the only people I can think of are people that are on my radar and that I'm aware of. So that's what I mean. And yeah, so I definitely recommend getting yourself out there and, enjoy Tokyo. Very jealous. One of these days I'm going to go.
I've got 2 bucket list dreams right now. One, I'm going to go to Jakarta, and I'm going to drive a massive truck. I know it's totally random, but I was talking to somebody about that, and one day I'm going to do it. It's like there are these huge mining trucks, like the massive ones. I'm doing it. Maybe not, but I'm going to try. And the other one is to see Japan. All right, Meredith, take over. Go.
All right. Samuel Reyes has a super chat for $10. Since no stream next week, I will say happy Thanksgiving to both of you now. I'm looking forward to Canadian Thanksgiving myself. My wife is Canadian, so we celebrate both. Also, the drawing is awesome.
Thank you very much, Samuel. And yeah, we won't see you next week, but we will definitely see you the week after. And I don't know where we are in terms of the month. Like we've got Halloween coming up, but I don't know if that'll be, I don't even know what day it is. That's part of the problem. Meredith would help, but she's typing something to somebody right now. This is not time to do horse stuff.
Well, I was texting with Allison. We were talking about how awesome apples are because Allison said everything I have is an apple, and I was a network engineer for like 20 years. And I said, because Apple is the best.
Okay, well, fair enough. I'm not gonna attack Allison for having an apple.
Yeah.
Keep my mouth shut then.
There you go.
Here's my problem with Apple. None of the, and it's such a stupid problem to have because none of the video games work on it, or a lot of them don't. It can be a real problem. But I haven't played a video game on my computer in years, so whatever. It's just a bias.
All right, just scrolling up, making sure I didn't miss anything. Luke Forwardson says, I need David to draw an epic Jesus. But Dave already painted an epic Jesus. If you go back and look through my Facebook stream.
I think I put it up on my Instagram too.
Did you? It's on his Instagram too. He did that a few years ago now for Christmas one year.
Yeah, it was before the YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Russ Hicks says we'll be on our own for Halloween as Eric and he are both going trick-or-treating. I wonder if they're going as Dave and Meredith Finch.
Russ
trick-or-treating together?
Russ and Eric?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, and we can go with Russ and Eric.
Well, they probably are trick-or-treating because Eric's got
kids, that's right.
So
yeah, he'll be out there.
We should cancel because we can't do it without our mods. Andy Skeleton has a super chat for $20. I don't see a comment, Andy. So tag me.
If Eric can't do it and Russ can't do it, is already well, we'll just have to change the day. We'll change the day then. What am I looking at for time? 9:53. I'm doing all right. Ish, sort of. When we started tonight, I really thought, oh no, I'm like, this is just not going to get done at all, but it's coming together.
It always does.
I just kind of struggled with it too. Speaking of, not feeling it and, feeling like not an artist a little bit, that's kind of how I was feeling starting tonight.
That's how I feel every day.
Yeah.
Like I'm not an artist.
Yes. Yeah, I feel like not a musician every day too, for some reason.
Allison says mod me and I'll do it. She'll mod us.
There you go.
We'll find something. DR Jackson is in their super chat for $5. Sim should be roughed in the background or the Goblin Queen. Keep up the good work. The great work.
Thank you very much.
Everybody wants to mod. John D says, I'll mod. Dan Genovese says, do you need a backup mod? I'll sub mod, says Samuel Reyes. I don't think we'll have problems getting a moderator.
Yeah, well, we've been very, very fortunate with the moderators we've had too.
Work with people, you do not know what you're asking for. We'll be back to banning everybody off the stream.
Yeah, you haven't banned anybody in years.
I know. I'm getting mellow in my old age.
Okay, not the the first person we banned
Russ Hicks
was
says my
Henry,
kid,
I think, right? Was it Henry?
Yeah, I don't know.
No, it was Anthony G.
No, yeah. Russ Hicks says my kids would be in tears if I didn't take them trick or treating.
Yeah. Oh
on
no.
Halloween. I couldn't dad explain my way out of that one.
Love it.
Oh, so funny. The word of the day. Just dad explain.
Yeah, well, we'll definitely plan around it then.
No one. Eric posted your painting of Jesus. Sean Jensen has a super chat for $9.99. Hey Dave, what was it like working on the Indestructible album cover? And any chance of a Monday night draw of Lucian Barnes? Ascension was my favorite comic growing up, so thanks for the memories.
Thank you very much. I actually did Lucian Barnes in season 1.
Did you?
Yeah, and I think it's actually in the sketchbook too.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, I did it with Hellboy.
Mm.
So it was like a double sketch. 2 figures. So yes, I've done it, and thank you. And working on the Disturbed album cover was, I kind of came out of the blue through email, and they wanted me to essentially audition for it. They had a bunch of artists they're looking at, and they wanted to see how I would draw their character. And truthfully, I mean, I was very, very busy, and I kind of
didn't audition.
No, I did.
Did you?
Yep, I drew their character, and I didn't want to. I was like, like I was not really in a position to audition for work. I hadn't done anything like that at all, and I kind of, part of me wanted to say, you know what, no, but it's Disturbed. I'm a huge fan, and yeah, so I did my version of their character, and they liked it. Thankfully, I think they auditioned actually 13 different artists, is what they said. So, yeah, it was a hill to climb, and then I talked to the band on the phone about their idea for the album's called Indestructible, and so they wanted something that really reflected that, and kind of carried that theme. So we talked about that for a bit, and I did some concepts, and we went through it again, and then I drew the cover, and then they actually had another cover they wanted me to do for the deluxe edition. So I did a couple paintings for it, all in Photoshop actually, which is not something I would do now, but I was experimenting with it at the time.
All right. We got 2 more super chats here. Dan Genovese has a super chat for $2. Dan says, the flock flies together. And then I have to read Anthony G's, oh, the good days of being banned.
Yeah. See, Anthony remembers.
Yeah. Andy Skeleton, there's a super chat. Hey, I was wondering about tips on daily routines.
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know that I have a so okay, in an ideal world, I think waking up and spending about a half an hour just to kind of get your head right and drink some coffee and whatever, assuming you don't have other things you need to do, is good. And then spending about a half an hour doing gesture sketches and working on other things, but gesture sketches, certainly, especially starting out, you want to do it every single day. And then, work on what it is that you're working on, whether that's, studying arms or studying something or working on actual pages. You just kind of have to get down to work and get going. Now, I lay things out in the morning. Some artists will actually lay everything out at the beginning when they start working. So the whole book is actually laid out right away. So when they're drawing, they know exactly what they're going to do, and they can just go into the next page, and they don't have to worry about that. Well, I am way too lazy to do that. So I lay out the pages as I go, which, look, in my defense, you know what I don't do anymore? I don't draw pages out of order. I used to all the time. So in any script, you've got pages that are really hard, relatively hard, easy, and like an hour, it's like a big eye or something. And so what I would do is if I was behind or just lazy, I would just cherry pick the script for the easiest page, which is the worst thing you can do. It's such a mistake to do that. But I did that for years.
You did?
Yes, Meredith.
I'm going to read one more super chat.
Yeah.
And then it's 10 o'clock.
No, it's not.
It is. And my back is killing me on this couch.
So another 15 minutes will be good.
Okay, so you can do that on your own.
All right. Read your super chat.
The next super chat comes. Oh, first of all, Henry Jeremick does say he was the first person banned for life.
Oh, is he? Okay. There you go.
And the final super chat of the night comes from Navy Sharks for $5. Hey, Meredith and Dave, what is on the menu for Thanksgiving dinner? We always do turkey, mashed potatoes. I do a carrot parsnip dish, Brussels sprouts roasted in the oven. I'm gluten-free, so I don't really think about stuffing or dressing. So usually they get stovetop.
And Yorkshire pudding.
No, not with turkey.
What do you do?
Roast beef.
Oh, well, let's have roast beef then.
And then pumpkin pie or apple pie or something.
Which she won't let me have.
Right.
We had a birthday 2 weeks ago, a week and a half ago. Anyway, I didn't get to have cake. We had a birthday today.
Did you? Are you honestly trying to tell me you didn't eat any of that cake?
No, I had none. I am honestly telling you know what? Okay, look, I would lie about this. You know that, right?
You would.
But I'm actually telling you I had none of it.
I'm impressed. That's impressive.
Yeah. I had 3 of the cookies I told you I had none of.
No, that sounds good. All right, this is the last of the try.
All right.
From Mike Schnitzer for $20 US. Dave, if I can help get Kelly Jones to come on the stream as a guest sometime in the next 2 weeks, would you be interested in that? Dedicated guest draw would make me happy to see you guys to finally connect. I think that's something, maybe not on this Monday night draw, but that's something you guys can talk about through email and coordinate.
Yeah, we'll talk about
it. The time to.
Yeah. Well, look, I would love to have Kelly Jones. Absolutely. I think that would be great. We'll definitely have to talk about that just because, and I would actually just look right on the stream. I would be more than happy to say yes. In the next week, so let's just jump on that. It's just with New York coming up. So we'll talk, but, I would love to have Kelly Jones, anytime. I don't know. It's a tough time. I don't know that I'll be, streaming for just a little bit around New York. But yeah, I definitely very much appreciate that. And I would really love to have them. That would be incredible. All right. I'm going to end that one here because otherwise Meredith will start swearing and we don't do that here.
I can't take it anymore.
Yeah. I'm going to, again, just like the last one, finish at the bottom a little later on tonight. And then I'm also going to change the angle of her foot. I kind of blew that. So I'll fix that too. All right. Greg Elstad, of course, says he'd love to see me connect with Brett Booth. That would be amazing too. He's great and a really nice guy. So, okay, everyone, have a great week. Hopefully, I'll see some of you in New York coming up. And for those of you that are Canadian, next week is Thanksgiving. Anyway, have a great Thanksgiving. And yeah, I'll see you all in 2 weeks. All right. Have a great week, everyone. Thank you. Good night.